Have you ever died after you were already behind cover? Yeah, that's lag. And trust me, it's not just your slow internet. Today, we're going to unmask the 4 villains that make your online games feel so unfair. We've all been there, right? You're in a crazy firefight, you slide behind a wall, you think you're totally safe, and then bam, you're gone. And you're screaming at your screen, "Dude, I was behind the wall." That exact moment, that feeling, that is the pure, unfiltered frustration of lag. So what is actually going on? See, lag isn't just one thing. It's more like a team of 4 different bad guys, and each one has its own special way of ruining your game. Let's meet the crew. First up, we've got the villain you've probably heard of, ping. This is the OG of lag, the original gangster. It's the root cause of that classic delay that affects everything you do. So what even is ping? Well, think of it like sending a text and waiting for a reply. You press a button to shoot, and that command has to travel all the way to the game server, and then the server's response has to travel all the way back to you. A high ping just means that round trip takes a long time, which creates that annoying delay. All right, next up is ping's super chaotic cousin, jitter. If ping is a delay you can kind of get used to, jitter is what makes your game feel completely random and unpredictable. Jitter is basically your ping having a meltdown. 1 second, your ping is a cool 30 milliseconds. The next, it spikes to 200, and then it drops back down. It's this wild fluctuation that makes other players look like they're teleporting or stuttering across your screen. Good luck trying to hit that. Now for villain number 3, and this one might be the weirdest of them all, packet loss. This is the jerk responsible for that bizarre rubber banding effect where you suddenly snap back to where you were a few seconds ago. So your game is constantly sending tiny little bundles of information called packets. Well, packet loss is when some of those packets just disappear. Poof, they never make it to the server. The server then has to guess what you did, and when your real data finally shows up, it has to correct itself by yanking you back to your actual position. Yeah, that's rubber banding. Okay, so we've talked about the problems with your connection, but what about the game server itself? This is where we face the final bosses of lag, tick rates and netcode. These are literally the server's rules for how reality works. Let's break this down. First, you've got tick rate. That's just how many times per second the server updates the game for everybody. A low tick rate is like watching a choppy flipbook animation. It just doesn't feel smooth. Then you have netcode, and this is where it gets wild. It includes a feature called lag compensation, and to make the game seem fair to everyone, the server has to, well, it has to literally travel back in time. And don't just take my word for it. Jan Bernier, a developer at Valve, explained it perfectly. When someone with high ping shoots at you, their command arrives late to the server. So to figure out if they actually hit you, the server rewinds time to check where you were on their screen at the exact moment they pulled the trigger. Okay, let's put all the pieces together. This brings us right back to the big question. How in the world did you get shot when you were safe behind that wall? Here's the deal. On your screen, you were a hero. You made it to cover just in time. But on the shooter's screen, who had a higher ping, you were still out in the open when they fired. When their late signal finally got to the server time traveled, saw that from their point of view it was a perfect shot, and said, yep, that counts. Your screen shows your reality, but the server's reality is the one that matters. And this isn't just a feeling, it's a fact. Get this, research has actually shown that for every 100 milliseconds of delay, a player's performance can drop by a staggering 25%. It just proves how much a solid, stable connection really matters. So there you have it. Lag isn't just one simple thing. It's a 4-way attack from ping causing delay, jitter making things unstable, packet loss deleting your moves, and the server's netcode bending the rules of time to keep things fair. So the next time you die behind the wall, you'll know exactly why. It's not a glitch, it's just the bizarre physics of online gaming. Now I've got to ask, which one of these villains gives you the most trouble? Let us all know down in the comments.